Welcome back to Stache Club Wrestling. We are recording this on July 11th at 11:11 a.m. Look at those ones.
Make a wish.
Look at that.
That's what you were waiting for.
Yeah.
Make a wish. This is going to be the best podcast ever. That's my wish.
My wish would be that I won the Predictions Championship, but I believe you retained. You had it, right?
I did have
Or
it.
did I have it?
Oh, wait a minute. You had it because you swept Forbidden Door.
Oh, yeah.
So I
yeah.
won it back
You want
from
to
you.
grab it? I forgot about it. According to our friend on Twitter, who keeps track of it, God bless you, Dante, you won. Excuse me, by a single point because I did change last minute.
You changed the Sami
I changed
one.
to
That's
Bron.
what it was.
Mm-hmm. So to officially hand this over, Dante, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And
that also means we already filmed the quizzes, but that means you do win the SCW Money in the Bank. Ooh. Rules are, as long as we're filming, recording, anytime during a quiz,
as long as that camera's
you
rolling,
can cash that in for a free 5 points. Anytime, as long as the camera's rolling.
Oh, no, I can't. Look at that. Are you
Oh,
kidding me? Give me the SCW belt. I'm covered in gold.
Huge. Oh, yeah, it is over there. It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Not doing it. Hell yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going to go over...
Dose belt briefcase.
Dose belt briefcase. We're going to go over...
Let's talk about how I won the briefcase and the Predictions Championship.
You mean going over the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
We can do that.
Before we get there, though, I do want to give a shout out. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's been a long week. Holy shit. 4th of July weekend was that last weekend. Jesus Christ.
It took years off my life.
It was a little bit of a 4-day bender for sure. But on the 4th, which is a Thursday, I went to the Beyond Wrestling and Chaotic Wrestling show.
Saw that.
Really good show.
Fun.
First of all, most of these people, if not genuinely all these people I'm going to list, I don't know how these people don't have contracts. It was unbelievable show. Probably the best, one of the best indies, some of the best matches I've seen. I went to like an outdoor one. I think it was the same Beyond Wrestling Chaotic people. I don't know if it's Chaotic. Maybe the same thing. I don't know. Either way, DIJAK was there.
Crazy.
Welcome,
so cool.
The welcome home chants.
So cool.
Welcome home. So
Honestly,
sick.
Sometimes it's better, not to interrupt your story.
No, go ahead.
Sometimes better to not have your contract renewed so you don't have to worry about the whole 90-day clause thing. So
Right.
you get released.
Right.
You have to wait. In his case, he can just start doing whatever he wants.
I think this was his second. I think he showed up somewhere else.
Okay.
I think it was still like a hometown-esque sort of thing,
Yeah.
but like still very early.
Hometown boy.
And he, still the glasses and the
Still
fucking
got the
coat and
gimmick,
shit.
yeah,
He
for
looked
sure.
good. He had a match with Aaron Rourke. Unbelievable talent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable talent. There was this moment where DIJAK beat him.
Yep.
It was one of the best matches I've ever seen. And obviously Aaron Rourke's the indie guy. Mm-hmm. And DIJAK wins. And he goes to he picks him up and he goes to beat the shit out of him. Raises his hand instead.
Cool.
DIJAK leaves the ring and gives him the ring.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just the look on Aaron Rourke's face was just,
expecting
it was so emotional. Yeah. And the crowd just gave him so much props.
That's cool. That's very cool.
And then I also want to give a shout out to friend of the pod, Love Doug and TJ Crawford.
Hell yeah.
Shout out my goats, my fucking guys.
Shout out to those guys.
Unbelievable. They were in a 4-on-4 tag match. But yeah, my fucking goats. Alec Price. Kid's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember Alec Price. He was on a couple Focus Pro shows. He wore the hockey jersey.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
This kid's I think he was on. I think he's on an upcoming GCW show.
Ooh, that's sick.
Marcus Mathers was there.
Marshall Mathers. That's the name that came to my mind when you said that.
Cruel versus Megan Bain.
Cruel is the guy you were telling me about, right? The scary dude.
Scary,
yeah.
Cruel is fucking. I don't know how Cruel. Megan Bain too. Which Megan Bain was at a different show I went to, and I was all hyped on her at that time, and someone was telling me she has an AEW contract.
Oh,
and
that's sick.
But I don't know if that's true because maybe it's a developmental or it'll soon to be. I don't know.
Right.
Both these. I mean, again, everyone on this list deserves contracts.
Way or whatever.
Cruel Cruel came in. He circles around the fucking ring. He's this big fucking monster. If you don't know who Cruel is, look up a picture of him. And he wears this really scary mask with these like almost cat eye things, and I don't know about you, I get creeped out by like
Don't like scary stuff.
I don't like scary stuff. I'm usually okay with, but like what gets under my skin is like the mask and the face paint, because I don't like not being able to read someone's facial emotions. Creeps me out.
That.
So he comes up and I see him coming towards like my area, and I like subtly move. I'm like I back up a little bit. I kind of go behind, like, subtly, like I'm not trying to whatever. Yeah. And he kind of starts walking in the crowd, and as he's walking in the crowd, I'm like moving more back, and I think he clocks that because he comes right the fuck up to me,
really,
and just like gives me a.
Oh my goodness!
And
I'd be terrified.
It's not my proudest moment. I almost ran. I turned around and did.
This isn't a gimmick anymore.
I turned around and kind of went like, "Whoa!" And then he
excuse me.
And then he like turned around, and I knocked a few people kind of getting out of the way. And to save face, I was like, "I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit." I was like, "Yeah, I don't fuck with that shit." I was like. He that shit creeped me out. He got me. I was like trying to just like save it.
Good character. He's good at his job.
Him and Megan Bayne had an unbelievable match. Focus Pro World Champion, our guy Tyree Taylor was also there. Ichiban #1 was there. Joey Janela.
Ooh, yeah. I saw you.
I think it was Joey Janela and Alec Price.
Okay.
They had an unreal match. So great. Also just like cool to see like guys like a Joey Janela and a DIJAK.
Yeah,
like, you know,
being involved in these types of shows.
I guess
that's awesome.
I guess Joey Janela is like similar to. I think he was doing it before Matt Cardona, but he's like the like Matt Cardona goes by the indie god. I think Joey Janela also goes by like the independent, like the
independent god.
The independent god. He went by something. Let me look it up. Joey. I know he goes by the bad boy.
Okay.
King of the Independents. That's what it is. Sex god. King of the Independents.
God. King of the Independents. Interesting.
And it seems damn true, which I can appreciate a guy like a Matt Cardona or a Joey Janela being like, you know what? Maybe they want to go somewhere else in the future. Maybe they don't. Who knows? But I like the fact, like, you know what? I'm an independent guy. This is my job.
I'm
gonna run the independent scene. I'm gonna be the best at the independent scene. And not that it matters for what it's worth. There's money to be made. If you're at the top of the independents, you're getting booked here and here, and you're in high class matches and whatever. You can absolutely make more than a living.
Big time.
Do it. So I feel like a guy like a Joey Janela sees that and like, well, I don't need a WWE or AEW when I'm making this much independently.
And we've talked about this, not to get into his personal finances, contracts but like and money and stuff. But like we talked about, like there was a report that came out that like any WWE superstar makes like $250,000 or something like that. I don't know if that was the exact number, but it was something
wasn't it 200 or was it 300?
Something between 200,000 and 300,000, something like that. But it's like then you have to consider like them paying for their hotels, their transportation, rental cars.
So if you're already gonna pay for that stuff,
right? But in
you find your niche.
I'm saying like a lot of the stuff for most is local. You just have to.
I get what you're saying.
So you don't have to worry about getting hotels.
Sure.
Plane. I mean, listen, 2024 things are more expensive than they used to be. So like a plane ticket to like fucking going from Boston to Oklahoma, we'll say, it's not going to be cheap. So you kind of look at it that way too, saving some money there. But no, that sounds like a fun show.
The New England, and as we've like learned over the past like year and a half, and like being with like doing stuff with Focus Pro, and like I've been going to some of the Beyond and Chaotic shows and like whatever. The New England independent scene is unreal.
Crazy.
It's really good.
It's really hyped up. A lot of people like it's one of the better wrestling scenes in the country.
Is. Yeah,
honestly, there's a lot going on, a lot of cool promotions that people should check out and be a part of.
Yeah, so please, I want to make sure I gave props to all those people. Please check out the people I listed. They put on unbelievable matches weekly. A lot of those guys. Okay, move on from that. We're gonna get into Money in the Bank, but a couple things happen. One, Ethan Page is your new NXT champion. I was
watching that event, bro. I was jaw dropped when it happened. I mean, crazy callback to so I've been seeing this thing where Triple H and Shawn Michaels have people, everyone they have their highs and lows. I feel like Shawn Michaels really hasn't had any moments where it's like, oh, this sucked. People criticize Triple H here and there for his booking decisions, but they do a lot of callbacks to things that have happened in the past and like from their matches specifically. And what I mean by that, so this was Fatal 4-Way.
Yes.
Obviously, Trick Williams takes out Evans. Spears goes to the ground, takes out Ethan Page, who falls on Evans. And Ethan Page wins because he was knocked out. Backlash 2007, bring it back.
Was it the one where Shawn falls and he like falls into the
Shawn
pin?
super kicks Cena onto either Edge or Orton.
Oh,
and John gets the win, just knocked out.
Oh, funny.
Didn't expect it. So it's like very big callback to that.
That's fun.
I thought, like, I was shocked Trick Williams lost because I'm like, okay,
me too.
They finally put the belt on him. They're gonna give him a good lengthy run. And Ethan Page and Shawn Spears are relatively new. More so Ethan Page and Shawn Spears to being in NXT. Evans is a 19-year-old phenom. So like,
and also in the grand scheme of things, Ethan Page and Shawn Spears, especially Shawn Spears, are more the veterans here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I'm thinking like momentum's on Trick Williams' side.
Yep.
I can't imagine them doing a title change with any of these guys. Ethan Page for being there for
Crazy.
a few weeks, good for him. And I thought that was the best
it's a cool
heel
move.
way. Like if Trick Williams is going to lose it, he doesn't get pinned.
Yep.
And it's like it wasn't his fault. Like it was just like a mishap type of thing.
And he's, all four of these guys are still involved in the title
Big
picture.
time.
So like, it's not like Trick lost and that's it and whatever.
it.
Now it's like Ethan got it and he's gonna. I think he's gonna win it.
He's
back.
a shitty heel. Ethan Page is like such an egotistical, like full of himself, and that just like adds to it. So I thought that was a good move. And then to close the show, holding the belt up, Ethan Page makes in his face, screen like kind of shrinks down. Joe Hendry appears. Just a quick, no noise, no music, just the turnaround.
So that's what I want to bring up next was Joe Hendry shows up on NXT as Trick Williams' mystery partner to take on Ethan Page.
Me and
Shawn
my buddies
Spears.
are playing Xbox.
Okay.
And my friend Matt is like, I kind of brought him up before, like he's been getting back into wrestling over the last few months and stuff. One guy, and he would always send me these videos of Joe Hendry. He's like, bro, I fucking love this guy. He would send me his music videos, all the like songs he would make, just his promos, matches in TNA. So we're playing Xbox, and I said,
"What are you playing, Fortnite?"
What were we playing?
Doesn't
No,
matter.
NBA 2K.
Okay,
we were playing
cool.
NBA 2K, and I was like, guys, Matt, Trick Williams has a mystery partner, and
They
Joe
teased
Hendry.
Joe.
And I was like, we gotta check this out. So we both our game finished, and we both put on NXT
fun.
at the same time.
That's cool.
And we watched it with each other through the headset and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Even like I missed this completely, but I guess earlier in the show they did a backstage segment where they were talking about it, and Trick Williams said like, I need a partner, and he walks off, and on the screen behind him they did the Joe Hendry thing.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
So I kind of already assumed it was going to be Joe Hendry, but
Right.
like if I saw that, I'm like, oh, 100%. Yeah, dude. As NXT should, they're taking advantage of the Joe Hendry hype. They're taking advantage of the NXT TNA kind of like partnership. And hey, man, strike while the iron. What's the saying?
Strike while the iron's
hot. That's what it is. Joe Hendry is one of the most popular wrestlers in any company right now. It seems like he's going to be involved in this NXT Championship picture. He has a match for the TNA World Championship coming up.
Who's the current TNA champion?
Moose.
Oh, it is still
it's
Moose. Okay.
But it's a 6-person match. It's like Joe Hendry, Dolph, Josh Alexander, Nick Nemeth, Moose, and then one Kazarian maybe.
Stacked. Wow.
So yeah, 6-person match. So I mean, pipe dream. Fucking Joe Hendry is the world champion of both companies.
Yeah.
That would be sick. I don't know what the plan is.
Because
here,
I think we are leading to a straight up one-on-one. At least
Right.
I would like an Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
Um,
Another TNA guy, Ethan Page. That's
Right.
where he really got his
The tag
start.
matches. I was watching it.
Tag match.
I
was
went back
okay.
to it. I watched it last night. It was like it seems short. I mean, granted, it's a TV match, but it seems short.
Joe Hendry has the moveset of like a basic 90s wrestler, and I
Yeah.
love it. It was like clothesline.
Well, that's
clothesline.
the biggest controversy I had, or not I have seen, is that people are like, now that he's the most popular, and we even use this as a title for the hot takes video. Now that he's so popular, people are starting to poke holes and stuff, and like,
Exactly.
a lot of people are like, do people only just know his theme song? Is he a
how does it translate to the ring and stuff?
yeah,
like that.
is he actually good in the ring? Is it just the
No,
theme
I've
song,
been
just the
seeing the
character?
same criticisms.
And I was watching the match, and then I went back and watched. I forget what it was. I watched another Joe Hendry match, and it's like he's nothing. He's not like a top 10 technical wrestler of all time.
100%.
But like, it is classic wrestling where it's like, arguably your character is supposed to carry more.
For sure.
And
especially in like WWE.
And he's solid in the ring.
Yeah.
He's not. I
don't think he's bad at all. I think
he
he holds
solid.
his own.
He's solid to good. Is he great in the ring?
I wouldn't say
he's
I wouldn't
like,
put that
whoa.
label on him.
But he's good enough in the ring where it complements his character. So it's like he's pretty rounded.
It's not like great character, but when that bell rings, like, oh, you can't push this guy because you can't trust him in a match. He can do his thing, and I feel like in wrestling too, it's like takes two to tango.
Sure.
If you put him in the ring with like again, like this is a very like specific thing, but like him and AJ Styles, for example, they could give you an unbelievable match. Like not every Joe Hendry match is probably gonna be memorable. Yeah, he's probably more well known for his character, his theme song. But hey, man, look where it got him.
Right.
And I mean, that's 2024 for you. It's like, yeah, you could have like be built off of, like you can just be built off of being a fantastic wrestler, but your character lacks a little bit. It's like Joe Hendry in like sports entertainment side of things, NXT, and if he eventually makes it over to WWE, I think he would thrive.
Well, our as in like the general our and also our me and you criticism a lot of time in modern day wrestling is like, yeah, they're unbelievable in the ring. But like their character, like look at like a Ricochet.
What's the story? What's the character?
Yeah, exactly. Like someone like a Ricochet is always brought up, who it's like they're one of the most talented people in wrestling today, but their character and mic skills lacks. And it's like, and I just brought up Ricochet because that's the easy example. There's tons of examples of guys who are just like solid to good to great in the ring.
Yep.
But it's like, well, what's there's no character. There's no like.
It's not even nothing to like invest in, kind of.
Even if there's nothing to invest in, like there's no 80s, 90s, early 2000s over the top. There's no Stone Cold persona. There's no Ultimate Warrior persona. There's no a lot of times it's just like a very talented and athletic guy, which is fine.
And let's be honest, I might get shit for this, but I don't think it's a hot take. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock are not two of the greatest wrestlers.
Stone Cold's a lot better than The Rock.
I think that besides the point. I'm not trying to like. I'm trying to say both of those guys weren't like the best technical wrestlers of their time. They were more known for their character.
I can't. The Rock, you're absolutely right. I can't say about. I've never heard that about Stone Cold.
I think they're good wrestlers. Don't get me wrong. I just think both those guys were built off of their character work, their mic skills, and all that stuff.
Sure.
But when it comes to what was their greatest strength, their in-ring, like technical ability, or their character and mic work, I think both of them. It's clearly their mic and character work.
Stone Cold, I have to hard disagree, but The Rock, I'm with you.
That's
The Rock,
fair.
I'm with you.
I don't think either of them. The point I'm trying to make here is like, you don't need to be the best wrestler in the world to be like, you could have
a top guy to be
exactly.
over. Right.
You could have the best character, and that sometimes that's all it really comes down to. And if you can back that up in the ring somewhat, you don't have to be an AJ Styles. You have to be a Daniel Bryan, Will Ospreay. You can hold your own. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's passable. You can make it work.
I think that's what people are so drawn to. Is he's a larger than life character, and obviously the theme song helps, and his
Jey Uso is another example. Like the character, the whole Yeet thing. It's that carries him. People critique his in-ring work. I think he's fine in the ring. I think he's good.
So
I think he's great. But like that's a critique people have as well.
Right.
Someone like him.
So if Jey Uso didn't have the Yeet thing and the whole crowd doing this or whatever, then he just has, he has he does have a lot of story to him, but like then he is just a good wrestler, but he doesn't have that extra added thing that the crowd connects with.
Agree.
Like, whatever. So ultimately, and I was watching that, he has like these, he's a very strong, you said, classic strong man sort of stuff.
Joe Hendry's
a lot of really good
boy.
slams.
Yeah.
He is huge.
He's like 6'3", 6'4", 250. Like he's a big
He's a
man.
lot larger than you I don't know.
Would expect.
You perceive, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, interesting time in wrestling with Joe Hendry.
For sure. I'm excited.
Now we are starting to see, and we saw it in the hot takes too. I think we are starting to see some people, just because he's like the most popular guy.
That guy
some little
in
criticism.
the hot takes video that made the Joe Hendry comment, he tweeted at me and he said like, I was the one that said the comment. I'm eating my words.
Oh, funny.
He goes,
that's funny.
He goes, after this, he goes, I'm a believer now.
Yeah.
He
That's a
yeah,
riot.
Yep.
Okay, we can transition on to Money in the Bank here, and we'll kind of talk about some, the Raw fallout and what have you. But we did just film, two things we filmed that relate to this. One, we did film a John Cena retirement quiz.
Yes, we did.
So that's fun. That'll come out within the next week. And we also filmed a tier list
of
pay-per-views, and we touched upon this Money in the Bank. We wanted to save the real explanations for the pod.
Big time.
We already went over predictions championship. I don't feel like counting them. I believe the person on Twitter, shout out you. We explain the briefcase thing. We'll start off here. John Cena officially announces his retirement tour.
Yeah, what a roller coaster this was.
When Trish Stratus announces him, and I was like, holy shit, John Cena. Why? Yeah. And then he comes out, and then I'm like, what is he doing here? And you read the shirt. And his shirt said for one last time, or his shirt said something.
And then the towel. It was like the last time is now.
Right.
I think it was.
I saw that and I was like,
what does that mean?
I was like, oh,
what does that mean, John?
No.
Yeah.
Comes out, nice speech, and
hypes up the crowd, talking about how great Canadians are and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that was I was talking to I watched Money in the Bank with a bunch of friends, which was fun experience. Haven't done something like that since college. Bunch of buddies over. We got pizza. We watched the Money in the Bank.
Love that.
It was a perfect because it was the two gimmick matches. So that.
Yeah.
It was nice to hook them.
It's that the Royal Rumble,
right.
those types of matches.
So they were locked in. The whole room was for Chelsea Green. I'll tell you that. But anyway, that was the one interesting thing. It's Raw was in Boston a week ago.
Right. Yeah.
And then his only thing was, and it's and hey, shout out Canada. I had no problems.
Shout out to
Canada. It was funny. He was like, I want to announce this in Canada because you guys are always, you
loud.
Got
my back. You got my Canadians. Canadians have always loved me. I got to do this because Canadians are awesome.
Canadians love me and they're loud. It was his
he could have went. Money in the Bank could have been anywhere, and he would have said the same thing.
I just don't know why they didn't have it in Boston last week.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
It's he could have been in Houston, Texas. The Texans
have always been
love
loud.
me, and you're loud.
Right.
He would have said the same thing.
But I was nervous that he was just announcing it cold turkey right then and there.
So the way he started it was I'm announcing my retirement, and it's okay, and then he's like, in 2025. Well, then he was like, Royal Rumble will be my last one. Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. And then it was okay. And then later on, he made it known
in
that
the press conference, he cleared it up.
I'm going to do 35 to 40 dates, whatever, and end it in 2020. It's okay, John.
Such a funny move.
It was okay, I'm retiring. What? Last WrestleMania. Okay, so we have a little bit of time. End of 2025. So we have a year and a half.
I was gonna say, we are only halfway through 2024. We have a year and which I love it, thank God.
Yeah.
But you would think he would announce it at the top of the year. This is my last year.
Yeah, that's what I was
Why he announce it?
He's doing it 6 months in advance, which I understand. It's all right, get people excited for the new year, whatever. He was he could have worded it so much differently and so much better. I feel like
it seems
it's John Cena. I get it. The guy can do whatever the fuck he wants.
It seems like he will wrestle before 2025. That's the vibe I got.
I was getting the feeling of. He said he was going to be on the first Netflix show. The Raw Netflix 2025. Show. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
Let's see when that would be. I mean, it's in 2025.
Interesting. Maybe he won't wrestle in 2024.
January 6th is looking like the first Monday at 2025. So that'll probably be the first Netflix show. Yeah, I mean, the way he worded it was just crazy because it was I'm retiring now. No, next WrestleMania. Then later on, I was oh no, I did 2025.
And because I thought you would think WrestleMania was the final match. And then in the press conference, I want to clear it up. That's just my last WrestleMania. I'm retiring the last match in December of 2025.
I'm okay, last Mania, that's kind of soon, but okay, you're going out on the biggest show. I get that. Yeah. It's what? You're going to go out at fucking December 13th edition of Monday Night Raw is going to be your last show or sorry, TLC in December. I don't know what we're doing here, but hey, man, he's the GOAT. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, it's cool. It's a great opportunity because this doesn't happen to everyone that he gets to go out on his own terms.
So sick.
And he gets to kind of write his last story right off into the sunset. He gets to
announce he's not doing a retirement match. He's doing a retirement tour. So sick.
And he's a guy where so many times in the past, like this is gonna be my last match, and then they eventually come back down the line. I really believe that this, like when John Cena wrestles his final match, that will be.
I think so.
And he said, like, I'm still gonna be involved at WWE. Like I already said, like I want to be like backstage. I'm gonna hang up the jorts for a suit and tie, which will be weird to see initially. But like he'll still be involved in the WWE world and all that. But I do genuinely believe once he wrestles last match, there's gonna be no time or person that'll bring him back out of retirement. Yeah, I think that'll be it.
Two notes I want to say. One, I want to give a shout out to our friends, Alex Lejas and Liam Crowley.
I saw both of their questions being answered. Both videos making waves on the internet right now. So shout out them
in there. We hope to join you for some of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second thing was like I kind of did this when we filmed the John Cena quiz. Is like, and when I was doing this right up for the pod, I was like, "Oh, the John Cena retirement! This is a huge moment, and I want to be a little sentimental, and I want to be like, I've been watching you since the start. Like John Cena and Rey Mysterio are two, and there are a Randy Orton, but like there are these guys that have been in our, and I think I can speak for you in our wrestling lives, I guess, the entire time. John Cena is and him being in Massachusetts, he's a massive part. However, point I'm trying to make is it's a little tough to be like that sentimental right now, considering we're a year and a half and we're gonna see him go. I don't know if I doubt he's not gonna be full time, but it seems like he's gonna be
there often.
Yeah,
if you're doing let's say 35. He said 35 before. We'll just say 35. That's at least every other week if you want to be technical with it.
So I would call that full time. I call that full time.
It could be. Yeah.
So I don't feel the need to get sentimental yet.
I feel like it's something that, and everyone's reacts differently. I feel like it hasn't hit me at all. He just made an announcement.
So much time.
Like, hey, I'll be back in 6 months to start my retirement tour. I feel like then is when it's gonna be like, oh fuck, like this is gonna be.
Yeah, I'll have another. We'll both have another birthdays by the time. You know what I mean?
We'll be. I'll be 27. You'll be 29.
29.
Yeah. I mean, listen. When I first started watching wrestling, him and Batista were the world champs. It's like since I can remember, he's been at the top of the mountain. Obviously, as the years have gone on, he's kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out with Hollywood. More so on the Hollywood side, but he still shows up here and there. But man, what a pleasure it's been. And people have their criticisms, just like everyone. Of like the Super Cena, people were booing him for points because he was just so dominant. But like, man, there's no one like John fucking Cena.
It is nice. It has been the case over the past few years. It is nice that now we're out of the Super Cena thing, and like for a while there was like the Cena sucks sort of thing.
Truly getting his flowers.
It's very nice that he had a really good like back half of, and I guess now a continuing back half of his career, where people are looking back on it and now appreciating it
big time
and not holding on to that like Cena wins LOL sort of meme.
And I think one of the biggest things too is like he would be like Super Cena, had all these championships, but like people weren't the biggest fan of his like wrestling style. Like 5 moves of doom they'd say he had, like didn't really have a big move set. If you really look back and watch some of his classic matches, he's a really good wrestler. I wouldn't say he's one of the best wrestlers, like technical wrestlers of all time, but man,
you wouldn't say that about a lot of people, huh?
I wouldn't say. Well, I mean, I just say like in the realm of like I think of like the tiers of like the Danielsons, the Styles, whatever. But like he was really fucking good, and like his character, like he stayed true to himself. Like he was asked in the press conference, like, what could we expect? Is there going to be a heel run? And he's like, I feel like that's kind of like against.
At this point, I wouldn't.
At this point, and like he's like, I'm on a retirement tour. Like no one's going to want to boo me.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just real with it, and he's honest.
I think that was Liam that asked that question.
Was it?
I think so.
Was it her?
Yeah. No.
Oh, Liam. I thought you said something else. Yeah. So I'm very interested to see how the last run goes, because I do think that is going to be very memorable. We already have some wrestlers, like CM Punk was like, I want to wrestle him one more time.
Yes.
We're already getting people being like, it should be him and Orton at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Him and Styles need to have another match. Him and Roman, him and Seth, like
I would even argue
matches.
I would like Orton for WrestleMania, sure. I would even argue. Well, I guess all right. This leads into part of what the title, which we need to move on.
Yeah, we need to get into the show. The rest of the show.
Real quick, so we've talked already too much about this. John Cena's last opponent. I like you said, Orton at Mania. I would even argue for maybe do both. I would even argue for Orton being the last opponent. However, I do also like the idea of, and this is very classic wrestling legend, you go out on your back, you put the young guy over.
100%.
So maybe Orton at Mania, go out putting a young guy over in December, you know?
I honestly don't really know. I didn't really think about who could be his final opponent because like I feel like John Cena is a guy that would want to go out on his back and like
I think so
put
too.
the next guy over.
I mean, also it's tough to guess because it's like a year and a half out.
Right.
Off bat,
Bron Breakker
is exactly who I was thinking.
Gunther is another name that maybe, but at that point he's gonna be a made man. Like he'll be a
Gunther has a world title match in a few weeks or a month or whatever.
There's a good chance he wins.
Yeah.
So like at that point, like does he need to win over Cena? Probably not.
Even a little Massachusetts favor in Carmelo.
I was thinking
that'd be cool.
Like those type of young guys, I think would be good selections. Again, it's a year and a half from now, so God knows what WWE
there could
will
be
look like
some.
then.
Yeah. Could be Joe Hendry.
Could be Joe Hendry. You genuinely don't know.
You know?
But yeah, I think there'll be options. Listen, as long as we get, which I believe we will get, just an iconic, memorable last run where I think we will get some of those last time matches. I think they'll do it well. I think WWE will plan it well.
I respect it a ton, and it shows how much he loves his career in this business and whatever, that he's basically coming back. I'll call it full time. It's, what do you say, 35, 40 matches or whatever it is. That's basically full time. He's being like, for one more, I'm going to do one more full year as a full time, just like John Cena was.
Big
you
time.
know, I love that it's not like, I'm going to do like the 3 big pay-per-views. So I'm going to do
I'll be there for the Rumble, Mania,
so he's going
SummerSlam.
to he's going to have, I would hope he's going to have like a pretty notable story and
I mean, they were talking about the 17th championship and he's like,
he has to.
Like, I mean, he's like, I'm going to I have to earn it. Whether it's the Rumble, Money in the Bank.
I love that he was like, I've been on a cold streak. Like he's very vocal about like,
self-aware.
I've been losing.
Yeah,
I've been losing.
He plays into the story.
He stays in kayfabe.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
I think he I think
he should
needs to win the 17th.
Listen,
yes.
I remember there was this whole thing of like him talking about if he wanted to do it. He goes, I respect Ric Flair. I don't want to be ahead of him. But man, fuck Ric Flair. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. Win that 7th. Be selfish. Bring back Super Cena. Win the 17th championship. I want it.
And there's also the discussion of like, is Ric Flair really a 16? Because some of those, some of those are whatever. I don't know.
Some of those fabricated. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But let John Cena get it. He deserves it.
Either way, we'll move on here. We're gonna dive more into Money in the Bank. Oh, holy shit, we have so much.
All right, let's get into
a lot of Raw. A lot of Raw might be on the Patreon, which like
that's fine.
A lot of Raw, mainly it's just like live stuff. Anyway, I'll stop wasting time. Drew McIntyre wins the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. We'll probably transition right into the. I guess we won't go on chronological, but for a match itself, just for the match, fun match, solid match. Not the best on the show. I think the women's beat it.
Yes.
It's had maybe like 3 or 4 big ladder spots. Andrade and Carmelo, standouts to me. Just on that, not looking forward. Nothing else happened yet. So just this match. I think Drew's a fine pick. I don't think Drew's bad.
It's believable. It's a believable pick.
Who did you have? Oh, we both had Drew, didn't we?
No, I had Jay. He was my 3.
Oh,
that was my big confidence. That was one of the bigger ones. Listen, man, my biggest critique of this match was it was a good match.
It was fine.
I thought it was a fine Money in the Bank match. It's not going to be anywhere near my like top 5, maybe not even top 10.
Agreed.
Maybe pushing top 10, but not.
Yeah.
I respect that they left the shenanigans out of it. They wanted it just to be a straight up ladder match, but I was disappointed because I'm thinking you have 3 guys here that there could be some shenanigans. Logan Paul and LA Knight have an active storyline. I at the very least, I was like, I expect Logan Paul to show up, cost LA Knight. I thought that would have been a good, just something to add to their feud. Does it need it? Not necessarily, but I think it would have added a lot more. The Wyatt 6 with Chad Gable.
Shocked.
There was nothing there.
Logan Paul, I'm like, whatever, but
those
Wyatt 6,
2 especially, and then obviously
Wyatt 6, I was very shocked.
I had my hopes up with the CM Punk / AJ Lee interference with Drew, which we'll get into it, but like I had Jey Uso winning, and I still stand on I think he should have won the match. I know there's going to be some sort of bloodline stuff going on down the line. I still think he could have had the briefcase and been involved in that. I believe that. Drew McIntyre, believable win. I get it. He's the former world champ. He has all this momentum, has this big story. I get it. But it's what it led to that I believe was the wrong decision. I genuinely believe Drew McIntyre winning was a bad decision. I don't think it was a good decision.
In hindsight.
In hindsight. Yes.
But
Before jumping.
Looking at this in a vacuum, though, I think
Seeing
it's fine.
it, Drew McIntyre winning it, I get it.
Okay, cool.
I get it.
Awesome. He can hold this for a year.
But
he can.
Unfortunately, that is not what happened.
Do we want to just go into what happened?
Yeah, just go into what happened.
So, Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. Damian ends up retaining against Seth Rollins. There's a lot that happens here.
A lot happened in this match.
First of all, up until Drew's music hitting, that was a good match. Very solid. Nothing mind-blowing, but very, very solid.
Respectable.
And
there was an unfortunate
ref counts. Seth hits his probably hit the Falcon.
Falcon. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Refs counting. Damian doesn't kick out. Ref stops the count at 3. Doesn't hit the mat.
Everyone's confused.
Everyone's
like, Seth's thrown off.
The two leading, and nothing's been confirmed from what I have read, is one. People were like, oh no, Damian might be concussed.
Right.
Damian maybe got hit in the head. And we've seen that in the past where you get concussed or kind of, even if you're not concussed, a little jostled around the head maybe and, kind of lose track of where you are. You're out of it.
Yep.
Or Drew's music was off and Drew's music was going to interrupt the referee's 3 counts.
Because his music did go off 10 seconds after.
So that was clearly the plan. I don't know what. I think either
Triple H said in the press conference after he was like, yeah,
he's like, it's a sport. It's
there's that shit happens.
I think that's
sport.
I think that's all you need for the cover.
That's
people are
respectable.
People are like, bring it into a storyline. But I think Triple H. I think he was clearly disappointed.
Yeah.
But
so was everyone else. Damian Priest was pissed at the end of the match.
Yeah, he was even I think during the press conference, Triple H was like, Damian's pissed. He was. I think Triple H said he told Damian go somewhere where there's no one out. Relax. Like take a breather.
Don't go on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said don't go on Twitter. But anyway, so that kind of harpened the moment and the match itself.
If that moment didn't happen, I think this would have been a very memorable match.
But also people also were gonna criticize because and I'm kind of in this camp of if Drew's music was meant to interrupt the 3 count, is that enough to? That's still pretty why would that interrupt the 3 count? You know what I mean? Right. I get it distracts everyone, but
I think it's one of those things where it's even if the music is gonna hit and this is if the theory of the music was supposed to hit that's what was supposed to happen 1, 2 you getting close oh the music's not hitting you would think let me just in case get my show, but again that's
but also the time because I think his music was probably supposed to hit
immediately.
I think it was supposed to hit right before 3.
That's true.
So it's kind because then it's
but then I think I was that's risky.
It is. Well, that's why it is risky. What I mean? Yeah, it is risky.
So that's why I like to.
That's why I think they probably thought they were gonna nail it. What I mean.
I mean, hey, if that happened, that would have been amazing. That would have been perfect. But shit happens.
I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah, and Damian Priest could have legitimately just got that move you're landing on your back that could have knocked the wind out of him a little bit, kind of threw him off.
Bubba Ray on Busted Open kind of went off on this and in a very I grew up during this and old school thing and I totally get why people would be upset and I'm not in this camp. I think the ref should have just hit 3 because from everything that I've heard in terms of industry stuff, and again, this is all grain of salt. This is things I've heard is the ref is told to play it straight. So if that person doesn't kick out and the ref hits 3, the ref's supposed to count 3.
Right.
I've heard that for years.
Yeah.
And it's been backed up by pro wrestlers the ref.
No, I've heard that.
The ref calls a DQ. And we've seen it in past where matches get messed up and the ref calls it straight. And Bubba Ray said, which I really liked this. He said, the referee is the only, I'm going to get the quote wrong, but he said the referee is the last illusion between it being a scripted show and reality. Sure. because the ref is gonna play it real, and if the ref hits 3, then it's real. But seeing the ref not hit 3 and be like,
knew that there was gonna be a cash.
the ref knows the story,
right?
So it does kind of removes a lot from it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not, I'm also in the camp of like, it is not that deep, kind of, but it's like,
I'm kind of, I get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, shit happens.
Oh, I agree with that,
like,
too.
then at this point, Seth Rollins wins, and it's like, okay, like, now it's going to be Seth. Now it's like, okay, like, Seth Gunther, I get that, but I'm sure they have other plans for Damian that would get fucked up and stuff.
Bubba's point was, and this is the part where I more agree with you on, is like, Bubba's point was like, the ref counts to 3, and to keep the illusion, you have to figure it out. You have to pivot the story, which I don't disagree with. However, it changes. Like, if Damian doesn't win,
because Damian win, he's out of Judgment Day.
It changes. Now. He's out of the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And Seth is facing Gunther, and
Drew's still cashing in,
and now Drew's cashing in
on Seth,
because like he made that match a triple threat,
right?
If he hit that 3, now he's just cashing in on a Seth, and maybe that changes how the Punk stuff goes. So that's where I agree with you, is like, there was too much.
There was too much
that was relying on it.
It's not like this
they
was
would
a
need to
typical,
change 6 things on the fly.
It's not like this was a typical just like championship match.
Yeah.
No side bets, nothing like that. I'm in the camp where it's a tough spot to be in. It's a tough situation, but I think they made the right call with having the match continue. Because I think it would have messed up way too much. And again, I agree with Bob. I get where he's coming from. Sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes like shit happens.
Right.
But like in this case, I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough pivot.
I see both sides.
I do. I do as well.
Like
Chanel.
But so
after all that,
boom, Drew McIntyre comes in, cashes in. We are in a triple threat now. CM Punk shows up, costs Drew McIntyre and consequently Seth and also a Damian the title. The question here, TikTok, if you're looking, let me get
let me straighten up a little bit.
Okay, what are we at? Okay, 43. Okay. Did WWE waste this year's men's Money in the Bank briefcase?
Yes. I'm so happy you asked, because they absolutely did. Why couldn't they do this during the Money in the Bank match? Have CM Punk come out and cost
would have been the same thing.
It's just, I get
they would have had
it. You add the whole factor of Drew wins the briefcase, gonna win the world title again, and Punk costs him again. I get that. You don't need to do that though,
because if they do it in the Money in the Bank, they get the best of both worlds if they did it in the Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
Because then Punk costs him the same. It is so
he did it twice. He doesn't need to do it a third time. I just don't think that's
Punk costs Drew the opportunity to win the briefcase, and you can still put the briefcase on a Jay Carmelo Andrade.
Exactly.
And then you have best of both worlds. Drew still pissed at it.
And then people on Twitter, and this
Here we go. I
hated this. People were like, yeah, but Cody has the belt and Gunther's gonna win it. It's like, they're gonna have those belts for so long. They don't need to have a men's Money in the Bank, because that'll just mess all that up. We're talking about a year-long briefcase that we hold on to. You're telling me a year from now, Cody would have, if Cody still has the belt, he would have had the belt for a year and 3 months. At that point, I would be okay if Cody loses. Gunther at that point is going to be probably a month away from holding it for a year. At that point, I think losing to a Money in the Bank briefcase holder is justifiable. You don't give me that Gunther and Cody are going to have the belt, they shouldn't lose in this X amount of time. Bullshit. That's what the briefcase is meant for, to break up those reigns, to make a believable character lose in a screwy type of match.
To make something, add a sense of unpredictability to it.
And like, bro, Jey Uso winning that, or even, fuck it, even give it to Chad Gable and have him, he's been chasing the IC title from Gunther. What if he won the World Heavyweight Championship
that's
from
cool.
him? You know what I mean?
Cool.
Like, I would have preferred that than this. I don't want to say shit, but this shit that they gave us, because it's just like, I don't want to say it's repetitive. It continues the story, which this is the best story in wrestling right now. I think CM Punk and Drew. I'm not changing my opinion on that because of this. I just feel like it was super unnecessary. You wasted a Money in the Bank contract, which Tiffany's going to have her. We'll get into it. Tiffany will have hers. She'll be great. But like, you didn't have to waste the men's briefcase just to continue the story. That would have been fine if you just had Punk cost him the briefcase in itself.
And the thing that sucks is everyone else in that match could have benefited from the briefcase.
Jey Uso
Knight
had to fight tooth and nail to get across the border to get to Canada, and just to lose?
LA Knight, Jey Uso, Carmelo, Andrade, who am I missing? Chad Gable. All 5 of those men
I would have been fine with any
are on
of
a
them.
lower tier in terms of like just hierarchy in the company than a Drew, and they all could have used it as that mid-card level up.
Catapulted them to a world championship, but we're not going to get that, unfortunately.
Here's what I will say.
Okay.
On paper, I'm very clear about this. On paper and just story-wise, I think it's like it adds so much to the Punk story. Because like you said, I love this Punk-Drew story. I love the Punk costing Drew everything. World title opportunities, Money in the Bank, cash-ins, different sort of stuff.
It adds to their story.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
On paper, I think it's so good.
Sure.
Just in a script, writing a story, CM Punk cost Drew this Money in the Bank briefcase, cash in for that an opportunity he could have held on for a year that he chose to cash in that night that turned into a world title opportunity. So he not only cost him the world title match and the world title in that triple threat, he cost him the idea of that he could have had this opportunity for a whole year. He cost him a lot.
Yeah.
On paper, it's really, really good and interesting and whatever. But to your point, kind of what we've been saying, all that story progression selfishly just progressed their story and harpened the Money in the Bank match and the opportunities of others.
I'll give them this benefit. I'll give them this benefit. By doing this, he also continued his story with Seth, or reignited it, I should say. Because now Seth got caught in the crossfire.
You're right.
Seth is like, granted, and we'll get to it on Raw, about the whole, if you lose, this is your last chance to win. Or this is the last chance to get a match for the World Heavyweight Championship as long as Damian is champ. So that kind of got Seth going, and Mad Seth is great. I think he does a great job at selling it, and that does get that story reignited. Like I said, they had their promo on Raw,
and so I'll
give them that.
I think the basis of, and we already kind of answered this question, the basis of that is for all of that story progression,
was it worth it?
Was it worth it? And was it worth it the way they executed it? It seems like they could have gotten here with a different execution. Maybe not the Seth stuff.
Sure.
But Seth can be mad over something else. I just think there was a different way to execute it without wasting the briefcase.
I agree. Listen, at the end of the day, did they waste the briefcase? Did they sacrifice too much?
Sacrifice is what, that's a good word for it.
For the sake of other people's stories and whatnot? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
because now it's over. Now the Money in the Bank's over. It's like we have
to wait till next year to get another men's Money in the Bank winner.
Now it's not. It has nothing to do with Punk and Drew anymore.
Nope.
Now no one's care. It's gone. It's crazy.
I mean, and God forbid, maybe Drew, and I think everyone knew this was going to happen too, because Drew said, if I win, I'm cashing it in that night. So as soon as he won, it was like, okay, this is going to be a triple threat match. God forbid they didn't have him say this and have Punk and Drew feud over the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's like, all right, Drew, you're going to hold on to that briefcase. I'm going to make sure you can't cash that in.
I mean,
I would have been okay with that. You know what I mean? As long as the briefcase is still involved and it still has a story. Now, it's like, that's just gone now.
I've been saying this for weeks at this point, where it's like Drew needs to. When does Drew not get tricked?
Punk. Yes, I agree.
And I think we were talking about last week. Maybe it was my kind of part of my prediction is. I think even Drew cashes in. I think maybe Drew should have. I think Punk tries. Maybe he's not successful this time, and Drew does. Successfully cashes in, wins the world title, and now it's like.
And I would have been okay with that.
And there's a whole story of Punk's been sabotaging him. He didn't sabotage him this time, and this time, excuse me, lose my voice. This time, too intense of a discussion. This time, Punk doesn't cost him, and Punk not costing this time resulted in Drew winning the World Heavyweight Championship, which is Punk's like worst fear.
And you know what?
That would have been some fun story.
That adds more to the story than Punk costing him again.
Yes,
to be honest with you, because again, it's like
what's this? The third time?
This is the third time. It's like, and the Scotland one, Clash of the Castle, I was a fan of because it was unique, it was creative.
The referee one, I liked it. I liked it too.
We're like, how can he trick Drew again? that's a good way of doing it. This is just like CM Punk just interferes and that's it. Like,
and
Drew
now,
McIntyre didn't expect that to happen. Like, we're supposed to believe him as a smart character of like, I'm very self-aware of all this shit, but not when it comes to CM Punk. It's like you could have let him get the upper hand one time. And if he walked out as World Heavyweight Champion, I would have been okay with like, you know what? The briefcase only lasts an hour, but at least he benefited from it. And I would have been okay with that.
And now it's like,
I didn't think I was gonna be this passionate about it.
I kind of knew this was gonna happen. Who's the heel now? Who are you rooting for in Punk versus Drew?
I feel bad for Drew.
What I'm saying,
how
right?
am I supposed to boo Drew? You're supposed to boo Punk in this
That's what
case.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so, do they, whether they switch the heel and face, I doubt it. Whatever happens, now I think people are rooting for Drew. And who knows who's gonna win? Let's just say maybe I think they're gonna have a series of matches. Let's say Drew beats Punk for what?
Yeah.
There's no title on line. There's no briefcases, whatever. It's still going to be like a cool thing, but it's like the result of now beating Punk and beating the guy that has screwed you over for 3 title opportunities. Beating him doesnn't give you the title.
Doesn't give you the belt.
So it's like, you know what I mean?
The belt's gone, brother.
So wouldn't it have maybe made more sense for one of them to have the belt?
Yeah.
or a briefcase?
Because I was in the case where it's like, I was in the camp of they don't need a belt or anything. This feud is great. But in this case, I think the Drew winning the belt would have progressed the story much better.
Yeah.
Again, if he didn't win the Money in the Bank briefcase, I'd be like, that's fine. They don't need all that stuff. But now it happened again.
And what sucks is I loved, like, I was hyping it up like a week or two ago when we were talking about it. I love Drew being like, I'm winning and I'm cashing in same night.
Sure. Right.
Like,
if it led to him winning.
All of this is really good script writing, storytelling, and on paper. And like I said, I do really think on paper in terms of story, it progresses. It's a huge step in their story, and not to sound like a broken record, but it sucks that it just comes at the fault of so many other people and so many other potential opportunities and directions that could have gone. You know?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, again, people will have different opinions. I'm not going to die on the hill alone because I know I'm not in this by myself, but I just think they really fucked up. Not fucked up because that's like extreme, I feel like, but they messed it. They should have gone down. I said there's 2 directions they could have gone down. They should have gone down the other direction, but it is what it is.
Something else I'm maybe not as passionate about, but I'm curious where you're at with now. I want to go back to Sami Zayn defeating Bron Breakker.
Yep.
And it's not just because I had a different prediction and it cost me those FCW Predictions Championship. Yeah. Genuinely, after this match, and I know I'm also not alone here, I think they also fucked up here. I think Bron Breakker should have won 1,000%.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with people with this match,
they're calling him Sammy Hogan now. I don't know if you've seen that.
Which is stupid. I've had the belt for 3 months.
I'm not that far, but I've seen people calling him Sammy Hogan.
How I look at it is Sammy beat Gunther, who had the belt for 600 something days. Like, you got to make a big deal out of this. You got to let it mean something, right?
Yeah.
Sammy Hogan's a stupid thing because he's had the belt for 3 months. I think that's a little too much. I do believe. And I picked Sami to win. I think this was my 5. This is what I was most confident in. Like, I'm cool with him. It's a hometown thing. I want him to hold the belt for a little bit longer. And, like, Braun is still so fresh and new where it's like he doesn't need the belt right away. My issue is people are saying that this killed Bron Breakker's push, which I so disagree with.
I don't think it killed it. I think it hurts it. I think it's tough.
Maybe it halts it. Like, okay, he was going like this.
Right.
Maybe he's going a little bit like this now. Well, I think he's still going up the trajectory. The next 2 nights, they had the thing, and we'll talk about that when the time comes. But, like, I don't think it was a bad decision for him losing. Would it have been awesome if he did in front of Sammy's home country? Right. Like a squat, like a Cena Brock type of thing. I think that would have been sick.
Yeah.
But I'm also fine with him losing because in what we saw after hindsight 2020, there's going to be a rematch.
Right.
There's going to be a rematch, which I think in the rematch, Braun should win on a bigger stage. Let's say it's at SummerSlam. I think that's a bigger pay-per-view. Even though Money in the Bank was in Canada, I get that would have been the heel heat, whatever. Winning it in a fucking arena at SummerSlam in front of 70,000 people, I think that's a little bit better of a place for him to win it if that's the direction they go down. But I don't think this hurts Braun. I think this only adds to his character of like now he's more pissed off. And more pissed off Bron Breakker is scarier. So that's where I stand.
Where I'm coming from is I think it does hurt Braun, and also how much more mad can the guy be? He's pretty.
He's a young bull. Woo. He's got a lot of anger.
I think him losing, from what WWE has presented us over the past week, I don't think it makes any sense him losing.
I get that. I understand that. He's been unbeatable, monster,
running through people. Mm-hmm. His whole thing is he's unstoppable. He's the new guy. He's, I think to your point of it being maybe a little early, and we kind of talked about this last week, is like they're the ones that made this match.
Sure.
So it's like,
and like
I would have thought, I think if you're gonna replicate the Brock Lesnar thing, have him win it early and have it be a holy shit, who is this guy? He just beat, you know?
Sure.
I think there was so much opportunity. I think there was so much, oh shit, this guy's the real deal. I don't think it needed to be a squash, but I think there was so much missed opportunity in building Braun up even more in this night that they really missed out.
And I'm not even disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
Because I think either result, you have something to work with here, right? The rematch, whatever, potentially here, Bron Breakker, we got a new IC champ, and this guy just kicked Sami Zayn's ass.
Sure, right.
Going against what I just said, is too early, just debuted. He's a 2-time NXT World Champion. If we want to really consider NXT as the third brand and stuff, he was the biggest name in NXT for 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's like he has that credibility. What I do believe they should have done differently is the finish, in the sense of like losing off of one kick. I think it could have been like a hit him with 2, maybe even 3.
That's one of my
Cody Rhodes here.
That's one of my biggest points. Is this didn't feel like the Bron Breakker we've seen for the past 3 weeks. It feels like
a little weaker.
It feels like they like really all of a sudden he's like
toned it down a bit.
Yeah, and again, I do not think it should have been a squash match, but like he was really, his moves and his offense was really toned down, and I like the haluva kick. Do I believe that one of them beat Bron Breakker? No. That's crazy.
I 100%.
So like if he, because I don't hate the like, Sami came out on Raw and was kind of like, his character is supposed to be the underdog, and 100%. He kind of, I think maybe he was kind of saying this because of the criticism of him being like, him trying to be an underdog and he's not an underdog. And one of his points was, I didn't say who was the underdog. He was like, everyone thought I was the underdog. No, Bron Breakker was the underdog here, and I beat Bron Breakker.
We can't start turning on Sami again. We can't let this happen.
So I thought it was a good play on Sami being like, no, I know I'm not the underdog. Right. Like I beat Bron. I'm one of the top guys. People just think I am. Braun was. Like, he flipped it around well.
I wonder if they made him tone it down to save it.
Braun?
Because this is me wishful thinking. Yeah, Braun. This is me wishful thinking again. Let's just say hypothetically they have a rematch at SummerSlam. 1-on-1. I think maybe that's the time where it's like, okay, like we held you back last match, so you can let it fucking all out this match.
Maybe.
And that could be the...
But again, it just kind of goes to my point being like...
You could have done it here.
Like, why? Like none of that makes sense.
I understand.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think this match more than anything is very subjective, because I think it was very 50-50 of Braun winning, you have this now. Sami winning, okay. But now you can have this to work with, like I said. So
it's like they did kind of handcuff him a little bit. Because like you said, the biggest note is he did beat Gunther, one of the most dominant champions we've seen in WWE history.
Exactly. So you got to kind of keep that alive.
I would have honestly said, maybe don't have this match.
Sure. Maybe save it.
If you're not going to give it to Braun, and you're not going to have Braun, like if you're going to all of a sudden halt him for some reason, maybe don't have this match.
Or even, maybe the match ended in disqualification. Braun got a little too out of hand and like pulled out a weapon, or like double count out.
Or like I would have felt better, like you said, if he pulled out 3 or 4 haluva kicks. I would have felt better. I
agree.
I just think there's a lot similar to the Money in the Bank, not the Money in the Bank briefcase being the ending the way it was. I think there's a lot of missed opportunity and development.
I think Sami winning was the safe pick.
Absolutely.
And I think they wanted to stay on the safer side. Hey, I mean, at this point, we just got to have faith and hope that they'll capitalize, or not capitalize, but like they'll continue the story and they'll make it worth it. So,
we'll finish up Money in the Bank, and then a lot of, I mean, we did already talk about, like, we did bleed into like the Sami stuff on on Raw. But
hey, that's why you gotta get on the Patreon, get behind that paywall.
Let's see. Oh, where'd I go? All right, Tiffany Stratton. We can kind of go over this quick because we have touched upon in and out of the women's Money in the Bank. But Tiffany Stratton wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. I thought this was match of the night.
It's
easy.
Tiffy time.
It is Tiffy time.
Tiffy time. Yeah, no, this match was incredible.
This was so good.
I think everyone had such a solid show.
They had so many spots.
Tiffany.
Io Sky and I think Io Sky. I mean, everyone was a standout. Io Sky specifically, and give it to Lyra Valkyria. Like that final, Io Sky. I think it was. I forget who it was. It was either Io Sky and Zoe. I think it was Zoe. They were on the top rope, and it looked like some sort of pile driver.
Yes.
Io hit onto the ladder that was set up parallel, or not parallel, perpendicular.
Yep.
And first of all, the impact, insane. And then Io, which also the whole room loved Io. Whole room loved Io. Io's she hits that crazy move, and then the way she lands, like on her legs, laid back, and just the scream, the final blow scream of that took everything out her, and she just let out that fucking Dragon Ball Z, just.
She sold like rent was due.
Oh,
she says, as they
she's
say,
so fucking good.
Even in that spot, Zoe Stark got hit and stood up like a statue and just fell over or something like that. The selling was amazing. These women did such a great job in this match. Everyone got had their moments.
Everyone had
Naomi,
moments.
Zoe, Lyra, Io.
Cool
Chelsea.
to see Naomi in kind of the veteran spot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? She's the one that's been there the longest. She has the most experience.
That was someone that people were hoping was going to win. And I'm hoping her time comes soon because I feel like she's been back long enough and she's had championship matches and stuff. But I love to see her back on top.
I agree.
And she would have been a great Miss Money in the Bank. But
Chelsea Green was also a highlight.
The star of the match. I know Tiffany won. Io was great. Yeah. Everyone was phenomenal. Chelsea was my MVP this match.
Chelsea was
the respect levels skyrocketed after this.
How silly silly and amazing her story of this is early in the match. She sets up the ladder. She's fucking afraid of heights.
Yep. She's jumping up trying to get it. Then she takes the ladder trying to hit it over and
perfect.
So good. So good.
The whole match. There's this whole story about her conquering her fear of heights so she can fucking have a chance at winning the match was
so good.
Awesome. And then that final fucking bump with Tiffany tipping her over into the table set up outside. Holy shit.
And the way it was set up, you see the angles where she kind of had to push herself off it a little bit so she centered herself up more at the tables.
I saw last moment kind of head cover a little bit.
Bro, I believe one of the greatest spots in women's wrestling history, at least in WWE history.
Was that spot right there?
That spot right there.
Sure, okay.
I don't think people were saying one of the best one spot people were saying was better was, I don't know if you remember this, Lita did a suicide dive and she slammed her head into the side of the ring. That's more of a scary accident. That wasn't a spot necessarily.
Side of the announce table?
No, it was the ring. The ring's not.
What did
the barricade? The barricade, I guess.
The
way her head went in, her
kind of
snapped weird, whatever. That was more like an accident that wasn't meant to happen. This was a planned spot.
Right.
Just being that high up, 15 feet, 10, 15 feet
Crazy.
in the air, getting pushed into two ladders like that takes balls, man, to want to take that. And I guess what I saw, or reports I saw, was officials backstage were so high on her after that match.
Sure.
They were that she fucking did so well. Her respect levels and her standing grew monumentally.
And then Tiffany
won,
wins.
which I'm happy.
It makes sense. Cool with. We all Tiffy in the bank. It makes sense. She's the heel.
We had Chelsea, but
I think we both had Chelsea. Just I think there was definitely a shot of her winning, but it was definitely we want it more 100%. Than
Tiffy winning. She's going to be a phenomenal Miss Money in the Bank. I hope she turns that briefcase pink.
It'll be pink and bedazzled. Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, again, we picked Chelsea, but I am totally fine with Tiffany winning. There was a few people in this match that I would have been cool with winning. No, she's gonna be great.
I want to move on. I don't have much to say about this match.
This bloodline match is
the bloodline ends up defeating Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, which I think is a good decision.
Yes.
I'll go over some beats here. We talked about this earlier. We talked about this in the tier list video. Jacob Fatu, was the highlight
the
for
highlight
me.
of the match.
Seeing him get some time, run around the ring.
No selling the
Randy Orton
DDT
was fucking perfect.
I loved how Randy like started doing the RKO thing and just looked.
That was great.
Great shot.
My friends, because like I had my buddy Dan is a little more
up to date,
a little bit, or like he would know, like Randy Orton doing that move, he knows like, oh, that's his taunt, whatever. And a couple of two of my other friends, Randy Orton's looking to do this move, and Randy Orton hits the ground, like he lays on the ground. My friend's like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why is he on the ground? And
Get up!
And me and Dan were like, no, that's like his like hype up thing. That's what he does,
setting up his move.
But
funny.
Yeah, and then to your prediction, Solo Sikoa does pin Cody Rhodes.
It's just like
crazy.
I feel like it's something that people could
It
see
sets
coming.
up SummerSlam.
Yeah, you're gonna do Solo Cody at SummerSlam.
Is that match official? No, right? Or is
No,
it? No,
but it's assuming that's what we're gonna go.
Right.
The direction we're gonna go down. Good chance Roman returns at SummerSlam.
I think I think he's out. I don't think he's wrestling, but I think he's absolutely.
I think after the match or something's gonna happen. Cody Rhodes has been pinned by 4 men since he's returned to WWE. That's Roman Reigns, The Rock, Drew McIntyre, and now Solo Sikoa. 3 Samoans and Drew McIntyre, and a Scottish psychopath.
One of those is a sneak.
Yeah, so am I a huge fan of Solo pinning Cody? I don't think it's crazy believable, but at the same time, you got to keep the story going. Solo being the new tribal chief as of this moment, got to give him some sort of like believability of like, okay, do I think he should have pinned Cody, or is it believable? Not great, but okay, he did it, so now we have to somewhat believe in this guy. I mean, it makes their world championship match, if it happens, more believable.
This was the criticism leading into this match, was like, people are more excited for
Roman to return than Solo this match necessarily.
Yeah, it's less of this match. People are looking forward to like this match is just a stepping stone to what's going to happen after. So people are more so just looking like, cool, this match, whatever. We'll see what this builds to. But people are like more interested in what this is the stepping stone leading to, which I think,
honest, let's be honest. There's no one in this world that believes Solo is going to become the new WWE champion.
Right.
I mean, let's be real.
But the match was fine. It was fun.
It was fine. I don't think. And I mean, Tongaloa also had a tough botch as well with the low blow.
Oh yeah, he like kind of missed
one,
and then
punched,
that was tough.
Punched Tama Tonga in the head. I don't know if you saw that angle. He like just straight up punched him.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
And then he low.
That's funny.
Yeah. So there was a few whatever. The match was fine. Nothing crazy, but it progresses the story, which is what is most important.
I want to jump over to Dynamite before we close the show.
Let's do it.
Let's see, CM Punk. Is there anything? So we did talk about like Seth, and Seth's like.
We can talk about Seth and Punk's promo in Patreon.
Yeah, because I think we hit the. Let's see, Live, Damage Control. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Before we get to, I do want to talk about Dynamite on the main show, but.
Yeah, we have to.
We're going to talk about more of the beats. I can't believe it took this long. Okay, set it up. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan.
Yep. Liv cost Dom the match last week, trying to help him out, get another match this week.
Rey
get the win.
During the match, Rey low basement drop kicks Dominic in between Liv's legs.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay, yeah, take it easy.
Everyone calm down.
There was a blocked 619 onto Dominic. He caught him, and then Zelina Vega hits a 619 in the bottom rope, so I thought was really sick.
Yep.
Liv slides a chair into the ring to no one because the 2 men are on the top rope, so she just kind of slides it into no one, causing a distraction for the ref. Helps, that all that should happen, blah, blah, blah. So Liv Morgan, for the first time in Dom's career, Liv Morgan helped Dominic pin his father for the first time in his career.
It's about time.
So that alone is like, this whole thing has been building to Liv doing the Judgment Day and Dom favors and getting in their good favor. And this has been the biggest thing for Dom he has never pinned his father. Yep. Liv helped him do that. And you can kind of see, even through the night, she stretched out his leg. Carlito was
opening up a little bit.
Carlito was like, that's cool.
He goes, no, I think that's hard.
That was the other thing he said. I have that note. He was like,
I was crying.
Damian's like, it's not that hard. He's like, it looks hard. Dude, holy shit.
People were like, we're not on Netflix yet.
Carlito's a riot.
Dude,
like, I knew Carlito was funny, but like,
just the little one.
He's a riot, dude.
Even though, that's cool. Awesome. Love it.
So Dom hits a frog splash on the Ray, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah. So now that like Liv did, this is the biggest favor that Liv could have possibly done Dom. And now Dom, instantly embraces her in a hug, kind of catches himself. But you can tell from the stretch and from this match, he's really starting to warm up to Liv's advance. Yeah. He's starting to like, oh, maybe this is, whatever. To the point, Liv jumps on him, brings him down to the mat, and reminded me of a live sex celebration.
Sure.
We're getting close.
We're getting there. Netflix is only 6 months away.
Liv brings him in. They're damn close to kissing.
They were close.
This is my brutality. Woo! Rhea Ripley's music hits, runs Liv down.
Aggressive walking down to the ring. She was pissed.
Liv pieces the fuck out. Mm-hmm. Dom is still in the ring. She confronts Dom. Dom goes in for like a welcome back, I missed you. Raw cut, but it seems like she just kind of dismissed him, walked away.
Yep.
This was perfect. Mm-hmm. This was a perfect return, a perfect execution of Rhea Ripley's. The timing was perfect. Yep. I cannot picture a better way to bring back Rhea Ripley, and this was fucking awesome.
Rhea, Mommy's always on top. Liv was on top when she came back. And even like post show that wasn't on TV, they had the clips of like Liv like looking through the curtain and stuff, and then walking away like evil, laughing, smiling. So it's like, ooh, she knew what she was doing.
Sure,
she set this up.
100%.
Damian Priest was like, there's consequences to your actions and stuff. Like Damian Priest kind of set it up because even during the show he was on the phone like, oh, where you at? Finn's like, what's going on? He goes, you know what? Dom's gonna find out. Like we'll find out later. Whatever.
That was
right?
a good little sprinkle in.
So they were kind of teasing it. It was the perfect moment for it to happen. And hey, man, it looks like we're setting up for Rhea Liv SummerSlam.
That's perfect.
Dominic on a
pole match.
Dominic on a pole. So yeah, man, the storyline was already great. It just took a whole nother step.
Yeah,
forward.
This is fantastic.
I can't wait to see what happens on Raw.
You said, and I agree with you, that Drew and Punk is the best story in WWE right now. This is giving a run for its money.
Not too far behind.
This is
not too far behind.
Now that Rhea's back, give me some. We'll see where this goes.
Big time.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Big time.
Before we close the main show and hop over into the bonus on Patreon, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for $5.99 a month. I do want to talk about Dynamite. We had the two Owen Hart Cup winners.
Yes,
established.
I'm going to say this. People are going to be mad at me. It's because it was last night. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it.
The Celtics were on.
The Celtics were on.
You're still celebrating the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, come on. How could you not? I did catch the second half of Mariah May and Willow.
Okay.
And I saw everything that unfolded there. Okay. Did not watch Danielson Hangman.
Worth going back to.
I am making it a point to watch it when I go back home after we're done with all this.
Because Bryan Danielson defeated Hangman Adam Page.
Amazing.
And I was also
Jeff Jarrett was what? Was he the enforcer?
I
the ref?
Call it an enforcer. Sure. He ended up being
like
the ref.
outside of the ring, kind of.
So he was sitting on the ramp, I think, just to make sure there was no shenanigans, maybe. And then the ref ended up getting knocked out, and he comes into the ring.
Gotcha.
And does which God, I love this trope. You take off the shirt to reveal a referee shirt.
Stripes on.
God, I fucking love that.
Yeah, you love a good ref bit like that.
But this, I mean, Danielson was bloodied the fuck up.
Yep. Yeah, I saw the pictures after.
Everyone thought, and I even thought Hangman was going to win just because of, one, I thought Hangman was going to win to lead to Swerve and Hangman at All In. And also, I guess Nigel, I forget his last name.
Nigel McGuinness,
thank you. I'm not super, I didn't know the history of Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, and Ring of Honor. Yeah. And apparently, which there's a video someone made on it that I want to brush myself up on the history, but Nigel McGuinness was on commentary, and the whole time Nigel McGuinness, because I guess there are lifelong rivalries. They've had this feud in ROH that basically established both their careers.
Or was he just
It's something
shitting
that
on
I'm
him
not
the whole time?
basically shitting on him, and then people were like, "Oh, Nigel's gonna get involved," which he didn't. But it was interesting to learn like that's I just wasn't sure. I was like, why is this guy shitting on
Keeping the bit
Danielson,
alive,
you know?
ongoing
Yeah, so
story.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, I mean, just from the story perspective, obviously I didn't watch the match itself, but like two great guys to have in the finals.
This was
It's like
fucking good.
Danielson, he'll finally get like. Will he finally win the big one? I know he said in the past he doesn't want.
I think my stance on that. I don't give a shit if he wants it or not.
He should.
He's winning that AEW championship. Are you kidding me?
And then Hangman on the other side, it's like continuing him and Swerve.
Right.
And it's just since he's been back, he's been on fire. The promos have been unbelievable. The whole like this guy broke into my house, did this and that, but like you still cheer for him and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like he wants his lick back. That's very believable. And I would believe that Hangman could become a 2-time AEW champion if they led to a fourth match.
I love
that.
I
Danielson
really
won.
love Danielson winning.
Me too.
So
I can't wait to watch.
We're getting Danielson Swerve at All In. Swerve did come out later in the show and gave a little promo, talking his shit in this big ass fur coat. Pay-per-view, highest level of pay-per-view worthy match on Dynamite. This was fucking
main
crazy.
event. This is the main event of All In. Danielson and
Swerve.
We've been saying I want Swerve to hold the belt for a long time.
It needs to be Danielson.
But I think it's fine if he loses.
It needs to be
It
Danielson.
makes sense. I think he definitely should
If he
have
loses
a run.
to anyone, he's had, at this point, when is All In a month? When is it?
I think it's mid to end of August.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a month.
I say by that time, I think you've had, give him one more defense, maybe on a Dynamite or something. I think Swerve's run has been solid.
I agree.
I think it's been more than solidified.
I think it exceeded.
I think it's been.
Exceeded my
I think it's been great.
expectations.
Yeah. So I think he's established. I think he'll be a multi-time champion when it's all said and done. But I don't think it's a bad time to move on, especially if it's someone like fucking Danielson.
No, it's justified.
He needs it. He
Big
needs
time.
the title. And then to close the show, Mariah May defeats Willow Nightingale to win the Women's Owen Hart Cup.
Yep.
And we kind of saw this coming. This was, we knew it was going to be Tony Mariah
Mentor,
at All In. What I didn't expect, and maybe this is me being a little naive, I honestly kind of thought it was going to be Tony turning, just because give Mariah the ultimate like baby face and she will beat her mentor or whatever. Turns out wrong-o. Mariah May and Tony Storm comes in to celebrate. They hug, and this is why I thought Tony was turning. So I was like, Tony's hyped. Tony's celebrating.
Classic,
They run up the ramp. They're all celebrating. Boom. Mariah May hits her with the title, whipping her with the belt. Whips Luther with the belt. Bloodies up Tony Storm. Takes her heel. Is driving. Holy shit! A side of Mariah May we have not seen.
Takes Tony's face, rubs her face on the side of it. So
diabolical.
As the crowd said, what a sick fuck.
This was awesome. This was crazy.
So unexpected.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so much better. Because I do agree that if I had to pick one, and at the moment, I probably would have said Tony's going to turn on Mariah. I get why they had Mariah do it, because like Tony is technically the heel, right? I guess. Or maybe, like, I don't even know. The fans love her. I feel like it would have been harder to get the fans to boo Tony than Mariah.
I guess like on paper, she's probably a heel champion.
Right, but
I
don't think, I think it's kind of like she's just a fan favorite. People aren't going to boo her. Like, they'll have people that might boo her, but like she's a fan favorite. She's a crowd favorite. So I feel like it would have been harder to get people to 100% turn on her
for sure
than Mariah. Mariah, now she's got this edge to her. Now she's got this fucking crazy fucking you sick fuck like character thing going where it's like she'll go as far as she has to like win that belt and whatever.
I don't think it's crazy to say she'll win it.
I think she should win it.
I could see her winning, yeah.
I mean, listen, Toni Storm is great. She's had a great run with this belt. Her character
I love
is
this
phenomenal.
character. The character's so good.
I think the character is still, you can keep it alive with or without the belt. And I think
she's done that.
She has. Yeah. And I think Mariah May, I mean, we're a month and a half away, but like that would be a solidifying moment for Mariah May. And be
agreed.
Like she is a main eventer. She is one of the top women of this division. She should win it would hurt more if she lost than it would hurt if Tony lost. You know what I mean? It would
sure.
hurt, it would hurt Mariah more if she lost than if Tony lost. Yeah.
For sure. Mariah May, you could say Mariah May is like the Bron Breakker of this situation.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, that match is gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
I think
All In is shaping up. Let's look at the card before we.
I'm also happy that they kind of did this now, because if they did a turn, I honestly was expecting it to be like closer to All In, maybe even at All In, like after the match.
They'd have a couple weeks of her celebrating and it was unexpected.
But now I think it's great that you have a full month to continue this feud between them and like kind of add to how the show ended yesterday. So I kind of like that a little bit more, to be honest with you.
You know what's crazy too? On the show, we're getting next week on Dynamite, which I think there's going to be shenanigans. We're getting MJF versus Will Ospreay for the international championship. Holy shit!
We are getting that match.
Yeah,
I really thought they were gonna hold off on that.
That's an All In match. I think there's gonna be some fucky stuff that leads to the rematch at All In because it would be crazy.
I get it.
Wouldn't make any sense.
I get it. They give you huge matches on Dynamite. I mean, we just had Hangman and Danielson, right? But like, no, that is a All-In match.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be some fucky.
There's gotta be something that happens.
With that said, that is the end of the main feed, the main episode. If you want to hear us talk more wrestling,
because there's a lot more to talk about
and answer. We got a lot of questions this week, so we're gonna answer some questions. We got who do you think will beat Cody for the title, and who do you want to beat him? Would you rather get slammed through thumbtacks or a metal ladder? And what is the best match you ever seen live? Amongst other things, we're going to talk about some Mount Rushmore stuff and a bunch of other stuff. So if any of that sounds good to you, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling to listen to that, and you get the entire back catalog of the bonus episodes, and you get all of the main feed episodes ad-free.
Love that. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you. Oh, also, if you made it this far, we're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So, like, if you feel the need to look over there, leave us a rating, all that stuff.
You don't have to listen. Just give us a rating.
Play them all. Play the Apple Podcast, the Spotify, and the YouTube.
Give us all the views and the impressions.
Exactly. With that said, Dante, I'll see you in the next one. Everyone, thank you for joining. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you all week. See you at the party.
It extends out there. Rock beats Cody for the championship. And now you can do Rock Roman 2.
Triple H says he went into business for himself and he pointed at Roman.
Now, if that's true,
I don't think that's true at all. Our opinion of what we think the Mount Rushmore is of wrestling.
I think NXT is the most consistent and best weekly wrestling show on television. I think